T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. T-minus 5 minutes. minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Giddy up, go! Welcome to a brand new week, everybody. It's the RP Show. It's a Monday, episode number 1798. A really big packed show today. Mitchell, Scruffy, Blair coming up here in hour one. In hour two, our dear friend, EMORY HUNT. EMORY HUNT from CBS Sports Network in America. He talks all football all the time. And Carter Beck, Atlanta Braves prospect, first-round draft choice of the Augusta Green Jackets. He'll be coming up in hour two, so we got a long ways to go. A short time to get there. We're going to jump right into it because Scruffy and I both work in the league. Scruffy, here's a curveball for everybody. Metaphorically speaking, we're going to start with baseball. Congratulations to the Saskatchewan Berries 2026 Western Canadian Baseball League champions. As I say, you and I both work in the league. It would be nice to be on that podium, but it's the Berries that are. They swept Sylvan Lake in the league final. So bravo, Berries.
Yep, great job by Saskatoon. Watched the final game last night on Flow College. Our good friend Les Lazarek with the call. I joked with him and I joked with you. Les finally gets a championship after so many years not getting one with the Blades of the Western Hockey League. Roddy, I talked to you about this. I thought your team was the best team I had seen this year when they came into Curry Field. That takes nothing away from the Berries, who were very good, but Saskatoon in the playoffs, they turned it up a notch, and Moose Jaw, Regina, Sylvan Lake, they couldn't equal that intensity. Although Regina gave it a good shot.
Yeah, and hey, the Millers too. But that actually segues this opening segment of the warm-up, brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel, is going to be all baseball, and we're going to flip to a lot of football after the break. But I see it with the Blue Jays. Now I've got the time to watch their games. They swept Boston, took 2 of 3 off the Yankees on the weekend, and Mitch, they opened the week a game out of the wild card spot. Everybody thinks they're going to make it. And Dan Shulman said on the broadcast last week, he said the mood's lighter around here. And I'm like, well, of course. After the trade deadline, nobody expects anything from these guys. All of a sudden, phew. And with Moose Jaw, with our team, we set a franchise record for wins. Nobody expected that. We got into the playoffs, and all of a sudden there's major pressure and expectations. That's what I see with the Blue Jays. The pressure's off. They're still a good team. They dealt off some big names on expiring contracts. They're still a good team. So I don't know how much you're following the Blue Jays. I don't know where the Cubs are. But, yeah, baseball.
Roddy, are they a good team? Are they?
Clearly. They
because
swept
the last
Boston.
time I looked, they're not scoring a lot of runs. The last time I looked, their first baseman, who is now hurt, who's making $500 million a year, Still hasn't homered at home. It's been 1 calendar year since that happened. Dylan Cease is pitching outstanding. There's no doubt about it. They're getting some good performances from their starters, and they're even getting some good performances from their guys that pitch 6 through 8. We're going to get it to Varland. But, Roddy, if this team doesn't start getting on the bats and getting 4 or 5 runs a night, they're not going anywhere.
I understand.
We'll
I don't think they're going anywhere
happens.
either, but everybody else is. It's what everybody's talking about, and good for them. And clarify, Vladdy's not making $500 million a year. He's making $37.5 a year.
You know what I mean?
Point taken. I totally get it. Listen, I get it. So I want to make that clear. And then the other thing on all of this, and maybe we'll get to football in this segment, is Tommy John passing away at age 83 on Sunday. I mean, you don't need to be an old-time baseball person to know, because all of the Millers know one of our players, Owen Shatta, had Tommy John surgery. It was named after him. What a character. 20-some years ago, he came through here to speak at a banquet. I spent the better part of 3 days with the guy. We clicked. My God. And just to give you an idea what Tommy John's like, most wins ever by anybody not in the Hall of Fame. Believe me, if I heard it once, I heard it 18 times that weekend from him. But I said, how does it feel to have a arm surgery named after you, forearm tendon named after you? He says, I'm just glad it wasn't rectal surgery. And everybody laughed. But that's him. That he is the character of all characters. And so our poll question today is, should Tommy John be in the Hall of Fame? Because he died not in the Hall of Fame, and he thought he should be. Most wins ever. I mean, I don't know if you get in the Hall of Fame because they named a surgery after you, but there's worse ideas for getting
guess
somebody
the
in.
argument can be made, Rod, when you take a look at another Hall of Fame, John Madden was a great coach, but John Madden wasn't known for his coaching. It was the video game. That's what got John Madden into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree.
I think John should have been there because of his coaching. But when you talk about Tommy John, and I didn't realize until yesterday how close he was to 300 games. And that's a magical mark that I don't think we're going to see again in Major League Baseball.
Wow.
At least not under its current structure. Does Tommy John belong in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, he does. But sadly, Roddy, I think more people remember Tommy John because of the surgery that has his name attached to it than the 288 wins that he had for the Dodgers, Yankees, and other teams.
Sure, but whatever the reason, it's not bad. I mean, the reason he's not in there, what I'm realizing as I get a little older, these grudges and petty things that people hold on to have been going on for decades, if not centuries. He's probably not in the Hall of Fame because he pissed somebody off. Look at Belichick. Look at Fleury. Look at guys like that. That's got to be the reason, because as he says, he's the most wins by any pitcher not in Cooperstown, and he pitched 26 years. You say nobody will do that again. Like I guess the point is he's got a Hall of Fame career.
Roddy, let's just put it this way, and this is not a shot against this individual. If Max Scherzer goes to the Hall of Fame, then Tommy John should be in the Hall of Fame. And look at what Max Scherzer has done over his career.
Yeah, here's the thing. He's won a World Series. Miraculously, I don't believe Tommy John ever did. In 26 years, I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
All the Dodgers and Yankees teams that won in those years,
I know.
I don't know if he did or not. That's a good question.
It's easy to find. But anyways, that's the poll question today. Carlos in Indiana writes in, he says, John Madden was also known for his broadcasting until he retired from that role. Scruffy says that some guys become known more for the broadcasting than the field. Kelly Rudy is one. And Kelly will tell you he was on the air longer than he was in the net. And he was in the net for 18 years. But a lot of young people think of Kelly Rudy as the broadcaster. Now, the people that vote on these Hall of Fames aren't young people. They're old codgers, and just the fact that Bill Belichick is not in first ballot Pro Football Hall of Fame tells you all you need. Clint Black's not in the Country Music Hall of Fame because he pissed somebody off along the way. Maybe that'll be the poll question one day. Should Clint Black be in the Country Music Hall of Fame? There's a lot of guys that aren't. So anyways,
he's
we'll
another
be
Hall
right
of Fame
back.
for Lisa Hartman.
Oh yeah, buddy. We'll be right back. 902-518-3033. We're brought to you by Western Dodge. From trucks to SUVs, Western Dodge has what you're looking for. Visit the showroom or online at westerndodge.ca. RP Show continues right after this.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So far, 100% of poll respondents saying yes, Tommy John should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He passed away yesterday at the age of 83, the legendary Tommy John. Text line open 902-518-33. We opened on baseball. We're going to switch to football now. And by the way, Adam Bighill has joined the party. He's now promoting the cruise this February, a CFL fan extravaganza to the port of Fort Lauderdale, February 20th. You can join Adam Bighill, Willie Jefferson, Jake Saresna, Kevin the Medium. Prices from $18.99, cruise only. Contact Neil C. at uniglobecarefree.ca. I'm hoping to see Neil this weekend when I head out to Vancouver. But, Mitch, we can't look forward until we look back. How were your picks in the CFL this weekend? Were you 4-0?
4-0, baby. 11-1
Okay.
the last 3 weeks.
Mitch is officially a professional sports bettor, which I don't think you mind me
for
saying.
The season.
You don't mind me saying you're a professional sports bettor, do you?
This week I am because I won, but I wouldn't go right out and say that.
I said to Mitch, if you're
pretty nice yesterday, and,
if you're making
the
money, yeah,
and the
you
golf
can say
was
you're
good for me yesterday and this weekend.
So he's a pro sports bettor. I feel like that would be a cool thing to have in your byline. Professional sports bettor, Mitchell Scruffy Blair here. So let's go back. Let's go back to week 11.
Before we go back, can we do this? Can we congratulate Paul LaPolice and the Canadian men's flag football team for securing a spot in LA at the Olympics, and the same for the women's team. Flag football is getting bigger and bigger, and I can't wait for that event in 28.
Well, I had that in my notes, but there you go. To me, it was a 6-inch putt. I talked to Lapo before. I talked to him while he was there. I knew that they would do it. None of this surprises me. And not only in tackle football are we really a world superpower. I believe that Canada is. In flag, we could be number one. I don't think there's any two ways about that. Yeah.
I agree.
Yes,
I hope you have Lapo on at some point in the near future.
I'll handle it. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. I handle the topics. I handle the guests. Just so you know. Yeah, well, I'm just saying. So point 2 is the Canadian Football League, Week 11. We talked about this a lot on Friday. BC beating Calgary 30-26 in a hell of a game. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Mitch. I think as far as that ending went, that was the game of the week. Friday night, Winnipeg spanked Ottawa 33-21, which I didn't even watch. Nothing against the CFL, but our baseball team had a wind-up, and those boys, they don't care about the CFL. I would be shocked if they did. Edmonton motorboated Toronto 42-12.
Didn't see that one coming.
No, as a matter of fact, didn't you pick Toronto to win? Like, I do have it written down, brother.
No, I think I had Edmonton. You'd have to go back and
check the tape. I can check the tape.
All right, remember,
either way,
subject to change, so.
Yeah, when you went to the betting window, doesn't matter because Edmonton did win, and then you called Hamilton upsetting Saskatchewan 26-19. How and why did you do that?
Roddy, the Riders don't play well in Hamilton. We know that. Doesn't matter what their records are.
It's the humidity. It's the humidity.
They just don't play well there. And you took a look at this Rider lineup that doesn't have A.J. Ouellette. And by the way, what a great ad he has done for the Mad Greek and Leroy. They should have done that the day we were there. You didn't have Sam Emelis. You didn't have Kean Schaefer-Baker. You had some guys on defense that weren't around. Their depth got tested, and their depth has been tested. And this time, Hamilton was up to the task. You know, I think the Riders have gotten away this year by playing some games that they've played to their level of competition, and they've managed to sneak away a game. The 2 games against Ottawa, for sure. This week, it caught up to them. I don't know what the lineup's going to be for BC, but right now, the Riders need to figure it out because of their depth issues. BC is climbing back into things. This could be that lull in the season that every good team has for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Well, I'm going to tell you, man, I don't know. By the way, all the CFL fans are joining the party today. Vancouver Eric says,
come on in.
Says Mitchie the Greek. I feel like that could catch on. There's no more Jimmy the Greek. Mitchie the Greek. The sports betting degenerate professional. Rich from Edmonton
I like
says,
that one better.
Rich from Edmonton says, vintage Cody Fajardo on Saturday. David number 1 from Winnipeg writes that. He says, good morning, Rod and Scruffy. Hope you both had a wonderful weekend. Argo Bill says a tough weekend to be an Argo and Riders fan, which he is a fan of both. So let me say all of this, and I don't know where you sit on this. By the way, the Cowboys beat the Seahawks Saturday. We should have bet on that. I don't know why we didn't. My Cowboys beat your Seahawks.
Preseason football.
Okay. Oh, you're smart. You're smart. But we'll get to the NFL in a second. But
degenerate gambler, but I don't bet on NFL preseason football.
Well, so my point on all this is, like, for instance, the Dolphins lost Friday night, and I'm seeing the media and the pundits imploring people in South Florida to calm down because the Dolphins lost their first preseason. Oh, my good grief, what am I going home to? I can't handle it. And look at the BC Lions fans. Not the ones here. They're pretty level-headed, and even Kevin the medium was. They all said injuries were the reason BC started slow. There was a coach fired and all of that, and you know that. But now the Lions have won 3 in a row. And all of a sudden, I'm going out there this weekend, BC Place, expecting a party. I already talked to the Lions. I got my spots set up in the suite. They're all in a good mood. But I can tell you about 6 weeks ago, they weren't in that good of a mood, Scruffy. My point is keeping the faith.
Yeah, and let's take a look here. You know, everything was good for the Riders, even though they were winning some games that they probably should have had in cruise control before that. And now all of a sudden they lose, and you've been a part of this as much as everybody else. Uh-oh, what's going on? And all the talk from the fans, get rid of the kicker. The kicker sucks. Yeah, the kicker shoved it up your ass this weekend, didn't he? So, that was probably the only good part of the game for the Riders. But again, things aren't good here. And if they lose in BC, you know what it's going to be like here, Rod.
So it should be one hell of a football game. And so on all the other things, I didn't watch all of the Edmonton-Toronto game, but of the parts that I did, they had the Argos in hand. They're what Rich said, vintage Cody. The crowd wasn't great. People are talking about that. So I'll say again, while we all thought maybe the roar has come back to Commonwealth, you can thank Rider fans for that from the week before. And it'll be Rider fans, a big crowd Sunday in Vancouver. I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping for a lot of Lions fans too. And Travis Lulay is going to be on this show tomorrow. Just so you know, everybody, Travis Lulay will be on the show live tomorrow from Salem, Oregon. But Mitch, out of all the week, Ottawa at 0-9, and Henry Burris said here last Thursday that that is a culturally suppressed locker room. And I know this is a small league. I know the Ottawa personnel people, Mitch. They feel the talent is there. They honestly feel the talent is there. The Red Blacks personnel people. So how do you go about fixing that?
I don't know. And, it's funny because I was talking with some people about the league on the weekend. Roddy, remember when Chris Jones took over in Saskatchewan and he brought in a lot of very good free agents? And a lot of people thought that that was going to propel them to the start of something big.
Yep.
And by the end of the year, I think maybe only one of those prized free agents was still with the team because they just never meshed. They just couldn't get it going. And I don't know, Gino Lewis didn't forget how to play overnight. A.J. Allen's one of the major reasons why the Saskatchewan Roughriders defense was number 1 in the CFL last year. And he isn't playing well. Like, I don't know what is going, the chemistry isn't there. Ryan Dinwiddie's putting the chemicals in, but it's blowing up in his face. We all know what that was like when we were in chemistry class in high school. Don't put this in with this or it's going to blow.
Yeah,
because we wanted to see what would happen. But
people
that's
saying,
what seems to be happening in Ottawa. The chemistry just isn't there.
No, clearly not. And people are saying that Dinwiddie's over his head and that. And I don't know whether that's true or not. But the results are the results. And I think we all thought, if it is a cultural problem, and who would know better than Hank? My God, I think he has a home there.
Is this deeper than the Drew Brown, Jake Mayer thing?
Oh, way deeper.
But did that start it, though? Was that the catalyst?
No. Dude, how many games in a row have they lost going into this year? That didn't start.
Right, but what I'm saying is Ryan Dinwiddie was not there last year when this season ended terribly for them. It has just continued on.
The problem was there. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying what I see. There's a reason they fired everybody.
Yep.
And there was a reason why. And to expect Dinwiddie to come in and turn it around like that is impossible, but you'd think there'd be better results.
Do you think that he's one and done in Ottawa?
No.
I don't
they don't. They're paying him a huge wage. So you know how that is. This ain't the NFL. This ain't college football. Erickson Extra writes in, Glenn from Medicine Hat. He says the Riders could be in for a Jonathan Jennings-type butt-kicking in Vancouver on... Oh, stop it. I remember that day, though.
What happened to Jonathan Jennings?
I don't know. We're still Facebook friends. I could ask him. He's a good guy.
All right.
He threw 4 touchdowns that day under the orange top and caught a fifth. I'll never forget. They thought he was the next one. We never heard from him again. Rich in Edmonton says 26,000 is a decent crowd in this Oiler-dominated market. Fair. I'm not saying the crowd was bad. I'm saying it was nowhere near what it was for the Rider game the week before, but we all know why that is.
It was disappointing considering where the Edmonton team had been. Because you thought that they would probably maintain that. I was a little bit disappointed. I thought they would be in that 27 to 30 range. I thought anything
they got
over
Winnipeg
30
there.
would be gravy. But
yeah. They got Winnipeg there this week. But, it's interesting. I said the only thing the CFL is suffering from is a lack of hype. I blame the breakdown in the media for that and really nobody else, although, CFL marketing over the years could be a little better. But this will knock your socks off, I would think. Saturday night, I'm at another barbecue/house party here, and it's in Moose Jaw. And I'm thinking, the barbecue's at 5. That's the time of the Rider game. They must be timing this up with the Rider game. I show up, and I'm like, where's the TV? They're like, there's no TV in the backyard. We're not. So I'm inside watching the game on streaming, and then they all come inside after they eat. Nobody's watching. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody's even asking the score of a Rider game in August in Saskatchewan. I was flabbergasted. Now, could you believe that would be the case? I haven't lived here my whole life.
5 years ago, I wouldn't have believed it, but now I do. Now, that being said, my neighbor came over on Saturday afternoon and said there were a lot of people coming over. Did I want to come over and watch the game in their garage because he's got a nice little setup in there? I said, yeah, that'd be great. There was about a dozen of us. We watched the football game. We shot the breeze. Had some good chow. Riders lost. Questions were asked. I tried to answer them.
Well,
we move on.
Yeah, we're going to break here right away, but I'm just saying I was flabbergasted because I was the only one watching and nobody was even asking for the score. I'm like, hey, it's Ticats are up by 4 with 3 minutes to go. They're like I get it. The night before, I was with a bunch of baseball players, half of which were from Texas. What was on the screen was George Strait's greatest hits. They were playing it on the damn spot. Like, I get that. They don't care about the CFL. These are Moose Jaw people.
I know.
And to be fair, a lot of baseball people.
Alarm bells, but
well, it should. But anyways, all the fans are here. Glenn Erickson says, I was at the one-off Jonathan Jennings Miracle game too. Enjoyed a few Caesars at the Hyatt. Yeah, well, I won't be doing that this weekend in Vancouver, but I am looking forward to that. I do want to talk about Vancouver travel and the price of hotels and a whole lot of other things. And the NFL with Scruffy, the professional sports bettor. That's his byline now. I feel like you should put that in your Twitter bio, Scruffy. We'll be right back here on the RP Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Good stuff coming in on the text line for Western Dodge. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I love Scruffy's fire today. I think the Rider fans should trust Corey Mace and the coaching staff that they know what they're doing. Right. You might as well piss into the wind with that one. Kirk in Toronto writes in, after getting motorboated twice in Alberta this summer and after listening to Argo head coach Miller in the post-game news conference, it's clear he doesn't know what he's doing. Once O'Shea got away, they had to settle for this. Blank. He called Mike Miller, the Argos coach, a word that I'm not comfortable with saying on television, radio, and streaming.
He's in Mike Miller's face?
Yeah. I
don't think the Argos have been that bad this year, considering what they've had to go through.
That's just fans for you. But what I will also say, though.
I know. But you're absolutely right with your Corey Mace statement.
Oh, don't even get
Roddy,
into
the
that.
loyalty that Corey Mace shows is second to none. And we just go back again to the kicker. Corey Mace knows that Alex Hale can do the job. He's struggled. He didn't decide to make a change. And Alex Hale, as I said, shoved it up a lot of people's you-know-what this weekend with his performance.
Somebody wrote in and said their butt still hurts from him shoving it up there from your comment earlier. Mitchell just saying about Corey Mason, his loyalty. We didn't have a lot of fanfare about this, but I did a banquet in my hometown in December with Mason. I said, how did you deal with your kicker last year when he was struggling? He said, I put my arm around him and said, you need to figure this out because we're going to need you in the Grey Cup. Right. But they did end up cutting him in February, which makes me wonder if that was the GM's decision or the coach's decision. And in the end, it doesn't really matter at all.
I also wonder how much the player had to say in it. Because I think he was sick of it here.
Yeah, very
because
possibly
of what was
too.
being said.
Also, might as well piss into the wind because none of this is ever going to change. Ken in Mississauga writes, and he says, the Argos have all away games, one game at home, and then all the way west to Edmonton. Maybe this shouldn't have been a surprise. He's talking about the Argos schedule to this point. I don't know. It's a factor. I've talked about that with the pundits. Their schedule has been a factor.
Yep.
But I don't know. There's a difference between reasons and excuses. I don't think the Argos are using that as an excuse.
No, they're not. And, I hear people talk about Chad Kelly, and the criticisms are warranted. Chad Kelly's a gunslinger. If he throws 4 interceptions, he's going to keep throwing the ball. Chad Kelly, you want a guy to compare him to in the NFL? I think Brett Favre played the same type of game. And those two might be the same type of individuals off the field too, but that's another story for another time. But Chad Kelly's going to keep throwing the football, and if Chad Kelly can ever learn to keep the football out of the other team's hands, the Argos are going to be dangerous.
Vancouver Eric has an odd fascination with you. He says Does Scruffy do garage appearances now? I.e., somebody asked you to come over to their garage, so you showed up. Would you show up to anybody's garage? I think is what Vancouver area. I feel like there's an invitation coming. Okay.
No.
Just saying.
Well, I'm not coming to Vancouver to Eric's garage if that's what he's thinking.
There was listen, back in the day, there was a Regina reporter. Don't blurt out his name because you know it and you'll guess it right away. But he was doing his, let's say, his media from his hotel room at the Grey Cup in, I think, Edmonton. And this was how tight I was at that time with the CFL head office. Cohan's top PR guy, Jimmy Dykstra. He pulls me aside at one of the events. He's like, do you know this blankety blank? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, he invited Mark to his hotel room to do an interview. Don't you think that's weird? I'm like, well, yes. So do you in your mind, you know who that is?
Oh, yeah.
Text
I know
me later.
who it is.
Oh, yeah.
I know who it is.
Bob, don't you think that's weird? Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
What were you going to say?
What are you going to say? I have a Jim Austin story about that, but I'll save it for another time.
Bob in Medicine Hat. We're very big in Medicine Hat. He writes and he says, hey, good day, Rod and Scruffy. Bob from Medicine Hat. Bat watching your show. Ate at the Mad Greek. I had a wonderful meal. Have a great day, gentlemen. Can I just say, everybody, please support our sponsors. Just do that. Stop it in our Overtime Hockey Lanes, Pump Jacks, Suds. You tell them you are there because of the Rod Pedersen Show. We need that. Prairie Panels. Build a rink in your house and get Prairie Panels to build it. Makes a very big difference for us. What are you going to say? I feel like you're going to say something.
No, I was just letting you go.
Okay, well, tomorrow, Week 12, we'll get into more Week 12 of the CFL because I can't let you go without talking NFL. We've We've had too much fun here. NFL, Week 1 of the preseason's behind us. Dallas beat your Seahawks 17-7. Sam Darnold didn't play, nor did Dak. What are your takeaways from Week 1 of the NFL preseason?
It's funny because, people are starting to go, oh, is this team what they're I take a look at the New York Giants, for instance. They played the Vikings, and all everybody wants to talk about is a play where Jackson Dart got smoked by a Minnesota player. Oh, the Giants are going to be terrible this year. What, because of one play? Like what, Jackson Dart, Cam Scatteraboo played 2 series? I'm sorry, guys. NFL preseason game 1, and it was nice to see guys like Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers play because you generally don't see them until snap 1 of the regular season. You talk about the Dallas-Seattle game. Dak Prescott and Sam Darnold, none of them played. I don't know if Njigba played. I don't know if Pickens played. I don't know if Metcalf played. You put those 2 teams on the field for Week 1 of the NFL season, and it's a completely different story because you've got all your number ones on the field. You can sit there and talk about teams that are supposed to be good, teams that aren't supposed to be good. Until we kick the ball off, Roddy, and even then it usually takes till about Week 3, we'll find out then what's going on. But I'm really amused at the way Jaden Daniels is just getting crushed on social media.
Explain to those that aren't paying attention.
Well, Jaden Daniels, the Commanders quarterback, upset with his alma mater, LSU, because they dared to give his number to another player. Jaden Daniels hasn't been at LSU now for 3 years. And he said, if you're going to have somebody else wear number 5, I want my Heisman Trophy back. I don't want.
He said he was deeply
the number 5.
So he was deeply offended.
Are you kidding me? We are 3 weeks away from the start of the NFL regular season, and this guy is concerned about his number in college? Give me a break, man. And if you're a Commanders fan, you've got to be going, what the hell is going on?
Don't be worried about that. Just say, lead us back to the playoffs like you did in your rookie year. Who cares what he says in the media? There's a lot of weird guys in sports. A lot. Just win. Al Davis, man.
Well, I'm thinking that Jaden Daniels got in the year of Stuart Johnston because that's the reason why we're not getting the 55 because Jaden Daniels doesn't want a double 5 on a Canadian turf.
Carlos in Indiana says if a number isn't retired, numbers are going to get reassigned. Oh, no, we're not saying he's right. Scrubby's just pointing out.
I'm not saying he's
what
right.
Well, what about what? But you know what? Look at Caleb Williams in Chicago. There was a story that when he was a rookie, he said he didn't want any veterans looking him in the eye when he walked in the room. Remember that? And he painted his fingernails, and everybody thought that was really weird, which, whatever.
I remember the fingernails part. I don't remember the other part.
Oh, yeah, I said I don't want any veterans looking me in the eye when I walk into the lot. Even the fingernails itself was just strange, but we are in this time of BU.
I remember him texting the punter after he got drafted saying, nice to have you on board. You're not going to have to work a lot this year.
Right, I'm just saying there's a lot of weird guys just win, and Caleb Williams did. He took him to the playoffs last year. Vancouver Eric writes in, he says, what are the Rams waiting for? Sign Aaron Donald. They're waiting on Aaron Donald. Sean McVay said that this weekend. He said it's on Aaron Donald's timeline, which we only got a minute here, but I will say this. What my takeaway is, it's Rams, 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 Rams. That's all I hear is Rams, Rams. I listen to Florio this morning. It's all Rams. That probably makes you sick as a Seahawks guy.
Well, of course it does. Hey, the gambling degenerate needs to know, is Miami a lock to win the ACC? Because I need to get a betting preview into a certain place. Are they a lock, or is Clemson going to be right up there with them?
As you know, nobody's a lock, but they got a $6 million quarterback that they paid $4 million to Duke to get him, and they got a lot of guys back from last year, but they didn't win the ACC last year. So remember that.
I know.
But they got a lot of guys back from that team that played the national championship, and a quarterback they feel is better. And Mario Cristobal's saying all the right things. So don't ask me for betting advice. I'm just giving you what you asked. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk more Week 12 CFL. We'll be right back, everybody.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Okay, we got our good and dear friend Scruffy out of the way. I hope you enjoyed it. Man, that goes fast, doesn't it? Now I can devote more time to you people. Eric has checked in. He says, Virginia, Eric checking in. Missed you all last week. I was giving you some shout-outs last week, Eric. I don't know where you were. And again, this is I loved Larry King. I would sit at night and watch Larry King. Just loved him. Maybe that's the broadcaster in me, but I love the names of the people. Eric and Mason Neck, Virginia. You're on the air. Hello. We got crazy 2-word names in Canada. Moose Jaw, Medicine Hat, Yellow Grass. But yeah, Eric, you're here. And it's just me and the viewers for the next 40 minutes. And they're both great. Talking about supporting our sponsors, Carlos in Indiana says some sponsors are easier to support than the other. I'm just saying, if you can, go on in there and mention our name, please. Jason in Red Deer says, he says he's going to be coming through. He says, I'll be stopping at the Mad Greek on my way to Regina, possibly. I don't drive that way, but I can make a detour. Don't promise it if you're not going to deliver. Didn't you say you were going to go to Overtime Hockey Lanes? Did you? Tell me right here if you did, because you said you were going to go. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. 902-518-3033. Vintage Sasko writes in. He says, the dill pickle wings at Pump Jacks are a national treasure. Not a pickle guy, not a dill pickle guy, but what I will tell you is the coconut shrimp at Pump Jacks will make your knees weak. I have it every time. And by the way, Vintage Sasko, I don't know how to apologize to you correctly other than to just come right out and say it. You were right. Henry Burris did wear number 10 with the Rough Riders. I don't remember it. Henry doesn't even remember it. But one of the Rough Riders equipment staff was watching this show and said, how do you not know? When he came back in 2003, Ladolphus McCullough was wearing number 1, so Henry had to wear number 10 for half the year. I'm like, tell Hank. You guys remember it. We don't. I'm calling the games. Henry's wearing it. But anyways, I apologize, Vintage Sasko. You were right. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it with Henry. 902-518-3033. David, number 1, I'll give it to you. He says, shout out to the Winnipeg Sea Bears winning the CEBL championship. Vancouver, Eric says, a college quarterback making $4 million. How is the CFL going to compete with that? Well, number 1, that was Carson Beck last year. Number 2, Darian Mensah is making $6 million, but they paid $4 million to Duke just to get him out to come to so they got $10 million invested in their quarterback. Arch Manning with Texas made $7 million last year. I think he's making more this year. But Henry Burris, you obviously, Vancouver, Eric, I don't think you watched the interview when Henry was on with us last week, and I brought that up. Again, the quote from the viewer, Eric in Vancouver, says, a college quarterback making $4 million. How is the CFL going to compete with that? Henry said it best. If you love football, you will come to Canada to play. And with how many million in the bank? What are you going to quit football because you're not making the $4 million, $6 million, $7 million you were in college? I get it. I get it. I guess that's why you all are here, for the inside stories. Like, there was a kicker for the in the NFL, Jeff Reed, who was best friends with John Ryan. I got to know him at one of the charity events we did. And Jeff was out of the NFL but felt like he could still kick. And he had made millions in the NFL. I'm sure a lot of you NFL fans will remember Jeff Reed. And we're just sitting around. He's like, what could I reasonably expect to make if I signed in the CFL? I said, $100,000 Canadian max as a rookie kicker, even with your NFL. He's like, what? But to me, that's different. And John Ryan didn't need to kick when he came to the CFL, but he did because he loved it. I guess that's my point, is the difference between the two guys. All up here. Ken in Mississauga says, it was reassuring to hear Henry say that. And to be honest, that's why we get the guests that we do. It's not, yeah, don't get me going. I don't want to go too far down this road other than what we do here is important. It's not just a bunch of guys sitting around a mic yapping that don't have the stories, don't have the connections, don't even know what to ask. That stuff just pisses me off. And that's not just some random podcast. I see it on national television going, this is crap. Why did you put this person on the air? It's crap what you're giving me right now. And I'm not going to name the network or the streaming service. That just pisses me off. At least here, you're going to learn some things. Like you, Ken, it was reassuring to hear Henry say NIL won't affect the CFL. I have not yet pulled that clip, but I will. And just so you know, some of the guests coming up this week, Travis Lulay tomorrow, Stanley Cup champion Colin Pedersen Wednesday, live from Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Ryan Thelwell, NFL, CFL veteran. Kevin the Medium's going to be with us. Murph again, live from Theo's Golf Tournament on Thursday, which, by the way, I said I wanted to talk about Vancouver travel here, and I will. So I'm going up to Vancouver this weekend. You know me, I'm a one day at a time guy. So I was getting anxiety because everybody's like, where can I see you? Can you come to this pregame lunch? Can we see you at the game? Are you coming to tailgating? Get into this, get into that. And I'm like, I'm trying to get through a baseball season playoff, get these shows lined. I haven't even thought about Vancouver yet. I didn't even book my hotel. So then I look at I'm sorry, what? Let's just say I will be staying in downtown Vancouver, paying more than I want, but not as much as I could or should. But it's outrageous. And I saw there was some comments in here earlier, but I wasn't going to get to that with Vancouver. When Scruffy was on here. It's outrageous. But what I thought is, you tell me, Vancouver people, as a veteran traveler, I could stay in Burnaby at an Airbnb, or I could stay at the airport, but I'm going to be spending it all on Ubers back and forth anyway, so I might as well just go downtown and walk everywhere, right? Vancouver Eric says, that's why we watch RP, the inside stuff. Thank you. Thank you for noticing. And thank you for saying that. I mean, but again, that's just kind of how the business went, because I was around when sports talk started. And these program directors, which, as JT the Brick I saw, Vegas Sports Talk host, said, we're answering to these guys, and they couldn't even fill in for us when we're on the air if we were sick because they're not qualified or good enough, but we got to answer to them? And they're telling us, back in the day, 30 years ago, we want it to sound like a bunch of guys sitting around in the bar. Okay, no problem. We can do that. But then over time, they whacked us and put a bunch of guys that they pulled out of the bar and put them on the air, and that's what it sounds like. They don't know anybody. They don't know the history. They don't have the stories. They don't have the relationships, and it's all gone to crap. The good thing is it seems to be coming back. That's the really good part of it. 902-518-3033 as I roll this out here. Point one was baseball. Saskatoon Berries, congratulations, and MLB. And Saskatoon Berries won the Western Canadian Baseball League title. Tommy John dying on the age of 83 on Sunday, or at least announced Sunday. I spent 3 unbelievable days with him when he came through town to speak at the Red Sox banquet. I hosted it, and let's put it this way, we clicked. I'll tell you more about Tommy John next hour. What a man. All I can say is what a man. CFL Week 2. Point 2 is CFL Week 11. We got through that with Scruffy. The picks are for Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Scruffy said he was 4-0. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you picked Toronto. And I have it in the notes. She doesn't have time on air to go back and look. Point 3 was NFL preseason Week 1 notes. Point 4, I didn't even get to this. And that's okay. I feel like God didn't want us to today, but it's from FanDuel. It's hockey related. The Atlantic Division rankings from FanDuel. Florida 1, Tampa 2, Montreal 3, Buffalo 4. Technically, those would be your playoff teams. Florida, Tampa Bay, Montreal, Buffalo. Missing the playoffs, Toronto, Ottawa, Boston, Detroit. So I was going to get into that with Scruffy, but it's August, and I get why we wouldn't do that. Point 5, Scotty Scheffler was back to his dominant form Sunday, turning a 2-shot lead into a runaway in the FedEx St. Jude Championship. He closed with a 4-under-66 for an 8-shot victory, the largest in the 68-year history at TPC Southwind. The Rod Pedersen Rod Squad Sunday newsletter presented by Suds Full Service Car Wash. The 10 Things column, feature interviews, betting tips, hot takes, and more. Sign up for free at rodpedersen.com. Your vehicle deserves Suds. To be honest, when we've split this up, Hour 1 Canadian sports, Hour 2 U.S. sports, I was fiddling with that idea years ago, and it just so happened with the split of when we go to U.S. television, it's worked out perfectly. Well, it's interesting here. Vancouver Eric says, stay downtown, walk everywhere. See, that was the thing. I don't got to go anywhere. But when I went to Manhattan in March for a couple of Florida Panthers games, spent close to $1,000 on Ubers. That was bad. Virginia Eric says, don't remind us, Rod, the Argos looked like garbage. Oh, believe me, we covered that spent 20 minutes on Week 11 in the CFL earlier. Arlen Bruce checks in, says, great day, RP. Congratulations to my son and the Arizona Rattlers on winning the IFL National Championship, Major Indoor Football League. What a season. He might be heading to the UFL. Thanks, CFL Commish. Arlen Bruce IV, banned from the Canadian Football League, and I don't like it, but it's not my flag to fly. I tried. Did what we could. It doesn't look like he's coming to the CFL, which is unfortunate. But anyways, we got a lot to talk about. Kudos to the Arizona Rattlers and Arlen Bruce IV. Emory Hunt next hour, a lot of NFL, CFL, and college. So get ready for that. And whatever you all would like to talk about. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Hour 2 in a moment. It's the RP Show. Game Plus streaming podcast and WQVZ.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
It's a big old case of how about that. Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show. Hour 1, everybody, on this Monday on Silver State Sports. We're going to lot to get to. Two very special guests, two big names. EMORY Hunt joining us from CBS Sports Network in the guest segment brought to you by Prairie Panels. And Carter Beck joining us of the Augusta Green Jackets, Atlanta Braves first rounder. Coming up later on, Atlanta Braves first round pick, 26th overall in the July draft. He hit his first professional home run Sunday night for Augusta. Really big news. And as a matter of fact, I guess that would be a good place to start. Couple business housekeeping items first. The text line is open, 902-518-3033. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. Are you ready for a new ride? Head to Western Dodge, where the deals are real and the service is legendary, or the streaming chat. Yes, we're on Silver State Sports right now. We're also streaming on Game Plus, podcast form for those listening later, which, by the way, over 90% of our views are after the fact. I've never quite yet figured that out, but thank you for tuning in wherever and whenever you are. And, of course, WQVZ Radio, West Central Georgia and Eastern Alabama. We're all over the place. And we open, which shouldn't be that odd, on this Monday. Is it the 17th or the 16th today? Monday, August 17th. Okay, I apologize. Is it today or yesterday that Elvis died? In, I think, 1977. I'm actually happy to say, because I've been around over half a century, and while I was alive when that happened, I don't remember it happening. So everybody makes this big deal on the anniversary of Elvis dying over 50 years or whatever the hell it is. And I don't remember it because I was like 5, 4, whatever. My brother will say, and he does whenever this comes up, he was hauling bales. Heard it come over the radio, hauling bales. So anyways, but it's August. It's baseball. That's my point. And because I spent the whole summer broadcasting in this collegiate NCAA Summer League, the Western Canadian Baseball League, the championship was handed out Sunday night. It wasn't us. After the historic season that we had, it was the team that swept us in round 2. The Saskatchewan Berries went on to win the championship last night in the sweep of the league finals, so kudos to them. And then Major League Baseball, here's the fun thing on that. We only talk about it when our teams are winning. And the Blue Jays, well, technically they're winning, but they're not even in a playoff spot. So everybody's raging in Western Canada in a good way about the Blue Jays. They swept Boston last week 4. They took 2 or 3 off the Yankees on the weekend, and they're a game out of the wild card spot. I just looked to see where the A's are. They're 12 games out of a wild card spot as we sit here today. The A's playing at Kansas City on this Monday. The Blue Jays are off. They're not winning. We got a lot of other things to talk about, so we will. Other than Carter Beck joining us later on, and he will be with the Atlanta Braves maybe by the end of this year. And I used to date his aunt Carla. It's a long story. He and I have talked about that. It makes him uncomfortable, and me slightly, and I think her a lot. So we move on from that. Football. Again, because it's August, the NFL's preseason's underway, and we're going to get to that. But we do talk about the Canadian Football League a lot here because we love it. EMORY Hunt covers it very closely. They air the games on CBS Sports Network. He's coming up in the next segment. So here's what happened in Week 11, just to fill you all in. Back on Thursday, we talked about it here Friday on Football Friday. The BC Lions upset the Calgary Stampeders 30-26 for their third consecutive victory. Friday night football, people are talking more about the Ottawa Redblacks, who fell to 0-9 after losing in Winnipeg 33-21. It's made things very interesting in the West Division of the Canadian Football League. But Ottawa 0-9, that's what people are talking about a lot. They're tying and setting records for the worst team in CFL history. And then there was a Saturday doubleheader. Nevada Wolfpack great Cody Fajardo leading Edmonton to a huge 42-12 motorboating of the Toronto Argonauts. And then my old team, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, losing in what many would call an upset. Certainly the odds makers said it would be an upset. Scruffy called it, my Hour 1 co-host, that the Hamilton Tiger Cats would win the game 26-19. So that's what happened in Week 11. We'll talk about Week 12 tomorrow. But I will say I'm going to Vancouver this weekend. I'm very excited about it. We got a lot of things to get to throughout the week. It's a busy week. It's the busiest week of the summer. I'm actually happy the baseball's behind me. Would have been nice if we'd won the whole thing, but whatever. We've got to go to Calgary for a couple of shows, come back here to do one, and then jump on a plane and fly to Vancouver for the weekend and 4 wonderful days out there and pay exorbitantly for hotels, which is outrageous. And Kevin the Medium, who hosts on Thursdays and co-hosts with me, they never see him in the Nevada hour, but the Canadian audience does. He's like, why wouldn't you just fly out of Calgary? Save yourself the time. I said, why don't you just mind your own business? I got this all planned out. I saw this the other day. You want to ruin a good idea? Tell 10 people. I got it sorted out. So I'm going to Vancouver for a huge game Sunday, the Saskatchewan Roughriders at the BC Lions. We'll be doing our picks tomorrow. It's for Pump Jacks Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. This whole thing here, the warm-up, is brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel Group, the preferred travel partner of the RP Show, and the BC Lions. I already talked to them. My spots are secure in the stadium. It's all going to be a big time. When it comes to sports trips, group travel, or your next great getaway, trust the pros who handle every detail so you can enjoy the journey. Contact Neil Chark with Uniglobe Carefree Travel. I'm hoping to see Neil out there. And of all the people I'm going to see, he's high up on the list. He's not number 1, but he's high up on the list. And you'll follow my social media to see the other people that I'm seeing going. I'm not prepared to say right now. Yes, Lions owner Amar Doman tops the list. Point 3, NFL preseason week 1 notes. So now let's get down to business at 902-518-3033 or the streaming chat. What were your takeaways of week 1 in the NFL preseason? I wrote a few down in my Hour 1 guest host, Scruffy. He's a Seahawks fan. I mean, I will identify as a Cowboys fan. As I said, I'm not moving off that. But I'm just adding the Las Vegas Raiders. And I thought we went pretty deep on Friday's show about the Raiders' preseason debut loss to Arizona. It wasn't about the score. Come on, we all know that. It was all about how Fernando Mendoza would look, and he looked fine. And then Dallas beat Seattle 17-7, but Dak didn't play. Joe Milton did, and he looked good. Sam Darnold didn't play for the Seahawks. So mainly it's this. People are getting way, way, way too myopic, microscopic on the week 1 preseason. Here's what it is. They debate it endlessly on what it is, and then they forget about it and move on to the next game, which is what you're supposed to do. But what I'm saying is don't get too married to the preseason results, no matter whether it's game 1, 2, or 3. That's for your own health, both physical and mental and emotional, because I'll say it again. The Dolphins lost in Washington on Friday night, and the media's and the pundits in South Florida are imploring the Dolphins fans to not get too upset about the fact that they lost the first preseason game. And I'm like, oh my God, is this what I'm going home to in a couple of weeks? If you're getting that, I guess my point on it is, if you're getting that wound up over a loss in preseason game 1, what are you going to do when the team finishes 1-16, which is what they're predicted to do? You're upset now? It's unbelievably, unnecessarily exhausting. And my other takeaway from week 1 preseason in the NFL is just Rams. What the hell? Sorry. Vintage Sasko, I just saw this. He writes in and says, late comment. It was weird but cool hearing Rod Pedersen's voice on CJME last week. Hashtag Miller Express highlights. That's also the interesting part of, that's the baseball team that I call, and I don't, in my car that I got for the summer from Western Dodge, God love them. Are you ready for a new ride? Head to Western Dodge where the deals are real and the service is legendary. I can't figure out how to get the radio to work. So all summer long, I have not had the radio on and I only worked in local radio here for how many years? I got my radio. What'd you think of this? Did you hear that? No, I can't figure out how to turn the radio on. I think I can get the podcast working just fine, and I can listen to my motivational videos on YouTube. I can't get local radio. So with now the play-by-play calls, and I'm doing those games on Flow College, the clips are popping up here, there, and everywhere. So I didn't know that it was on that station, our competitor for many, many years. Okay. Thank you, Jason in Red Deer. He says the anniversary of Elvis's death was actually yesterday. Somewhere I thought they said August 16th, but I mean, I wasn't the biggest Elvis fan. I'm not my mom, but I did go to an Elvis impersonator show when we were doing all those shows in Calgary at Grey Eagle. And my God, we're airing in Vegas. I mean, you can't swing a sock without hitting an Elvis impersonator there. And I didn't really understand it. The average age was 87 at the Elvis impersonator thing. And I've never seen anything like it. The wall, because it was all seated rows in the theater at the Grey Eagle Casino, chairs, right, folding chairs, walkers, canes, crutches, wheelchairs, scooters, as far as the eye could see. And then the women dressed up like it was 1965, and to me, I was like, where am I? And then at some point, every single woman in that room broke down crying. And I'm like, I don't understand why you're crying at this. But then I saw Clint Black at the Temple Garden Center in Moose Jaw 3 summers ago. And guess what happened? He broke into Killing Time and I started crying. I get it now. And for a lot of you that are tuning in, you get it. And for a lot of you tuning in, you don't. One day that'll happen to you, whoever that is in your life. Jeff the Stampeders fan says, if you can't get the radio to work, how will you ever figure out the tape deck? LOL. You mean the 8-track? Boom! You used to have to hit that thing break your fingers trying to get the 8-track out. Oh, listen, Eric from Mason Neck, Virginia. Hello. He says, old news, but Haynes King is a solid football player. Hopefully he'll get more run when he's healthy again. Eric, you can't show up a week late and talk about week late topics. Party foul there. We talked about Haynes King a couple of times last. Where were you? Show don't stop for anybody, bro. He's the guy that scored the walk-off touchdown for the Carolina Panthers in the Hall of Fame game. And to be honest, of all the preseason games that have been played so far in the National Football League, that was the most exciting of them all. Certainly the most exciting finish, anyways. Right. Jeff the Stamps fan says, next year's will be huge. The 50th anniversary of Elvis's death. Oh, those old women. Oh, my God. You might want to buy some stock in Kleenex between now and next summer because it's not going to be good. Carlos in Indiana, 1:11 Eastern. Now more than ever, Carlos, live in the end of where you want to be mentally, emotionally, where you want to live there. Think about it. Spend some time on it. Meditate on it. 1111 Mountain. Had a long talk the other night with one of the team leaders of our baseball club about that exact thing, the numerology. Think about it when it pops up. When you see those numbers randomly, think of all the number combinations there are in the world, millions of them, and you keep seeing those numbers? Oh, boy. Eric from Mason Neck, Virginia. Hello. He says, fair enough, Rod. I was visiting family in Savannah, Georgia. My bad, Rod. I'm just having fun with you. Savannah, Georgia, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my whole life. I mean, to be honest, I come back here to Canada in the summer where largely people don't usually go anywhere. And I tell them stories of the places that I visited in the U.S. South, and they're like, so you're not coming back? No. Georgia, probably the prettiest state that I've ever been. In Savannah, the most beautiful city. It actually reminded me a lot of downtown Saskatoon in a way in the summer. And the Tennessee Hills, there's a reason they sing songs about them, okay? There's a reason they sing songs about them. And then driving through Alabama, and I'm like, I get it now. I get it now. Hang on. Inside a couple minutes in this segment, we'll get to more of your comments later on. What else did I have here? I'm getting bogged down, which is fine in the comments. NFL, that was point 3. Point 4, since we're here. FanDuel NHL Atlantic Division rankings. I said it last hour. We'll spend more time on it this week later when we do the Pacific Division rankings. But don't blame me. Blame FanDuel. They've got Florida 1, Tampa Bay 2, the 2 teams for which I cover in the hockey season. 3, Montreal, 4, Buffalo. And then below the playoff line, Toronto, Ottawa, Boston, Detroit. Golf, Scotty Scheffler won the tournament. Was it TBC Sawgrass? Is that where they were? I'm just not into golf. I'm actually tired of pretending that I even care about it. I don't. But a huge shout out to Canada's men's and women's national flag football teams. I will always cheer for the team where I was born. Shout out to the country that's paying me. But they've qualified for the Olympics. But our good friend Paul Lapalisse, who's been on this show multiple times, coached Canada to the to the qualifying in Germany at the Worlds, and they're going to the Olympics. But I said to Lapo, I had no doubt. I guess to me, that's not even breaking news because I knew that you would do it, and he did it. It's kind of like Mike Davis winning the Major Indoor Football League championship with the Vegas Nighthawks. I knew what would happen, and you did it. So kudos, but I knew that you would. Emory Hunt joins us next from CBS Sports Network Talkin' Ball.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy.
through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. The guest segment, as always, is brought to you by our friends at Prairie Panels. If you're building a shop, barn, rink, or commercial space, Prairie Panels provides high-quality insulated wall and roof panels. Visit prairiepanels.ca. Emory Hunt is here, CBS Sports Network, the man that can talk ball for all. Emory, welcome back. Happy Monday, my dude. Can we start with NFL preseason week 1 and quite simply what your takeaways are in the smorgasbord of which there were?
It's always great to see the young guys, the rookies, the young vets get out there and perform. And I had a tweet about this over the weekend where folks love to poo-poo on the preseason as if it doesn't count. Yeah, we know the records don't count, but don't go out there and put out bad tape because folks will use it against you. So it's always good to see guys go out there compete. You want to see guys do well, especially the rookies. Mainly, you want to see if guys belong, if they're not afraid of the bright lights, because honestly, preseason games are essentially extensions of practice under the bright lights. So you can replicate some things, you can simulate some things in practice, but you can't replicate live game action when you don't have as much control. And that's how I look at the preseason, which is why I tend to look at it from a glass half full. And also you want to see where your evaluation stand for those guys you spent all this time grading. And I know I'm on a tangent, but I just hate when draft analysts spend all this time on grading prospects and have no interest in the preseason. This is when you're supposed to be interested because this is when all of these guys are going to play exclusively.
Buddy, you tangent away. That's why you're on here. And I hear it all the time, too. I don't follow preseason. Well, what the hell are you watching? Golf? My God. Different things. Who were some of the young guys that stood out to you?
Well, I like the fact that you get these undrafted rookie free agents that really shine. So I will bring up Camden Brown from the Dallas Cowboys. I saw him at the Hula Bowl, and I tweeted out, and I was on CBS Sports HQ, said that during one of the practice recaps, I was like, this guy looks like a man amongst boys. And I thought he was going to get a call up to another All-Star game. He didn't. So he laid it out all on the line against the Seahawks.
Yeah, 2 tuds.
And 2 touchdowns, and it looked physical. He looked like a veteran out there. I also like what I saw from a lot of the quarterbacks for the Cardinals, and just the Cardinals in general, offensively speaking. They look like they're efficient, they're effective, they're moving the football. Every quarterback played well, and I think that shows you how much they attack practice, because it's not the quarterbacks having dynamic performances. It's about the operation. So no matter who was the quarterback in there, the offense was expected to go move the football down the field and play really well. So I like that for a first-time head coach. That speaks volumes of what he's doing out there in practice. And on the defensive side of the ball, man, I just was a big fan of what Benny Bishop did for the Chicago Bears, having 2 interceptions. And the reason why I bring him up is because he had a nice little spurt with the Steelers a couple of years ago when they plucked him off as an undrafted rookie free agent, and then he kind of disappeared, and now he reappears once again and is having some success. So I like to see those type of stories across the preseason.
As we all do, and we've got fans of every team watching this show. For instance, we have a new viewer, Eric in Mason Neck, Virginia. He's a Panthers fan. He brought up Haynes King. I mean, that Hall of Fame game, you had to watch right to the end. Tell us what you know about Haynes King, and maybe, I don't know, he's not the next one. I'd love to think Bryce Young is, but your thoughts on what he's done?
It's funny because if folks followed me all throughout college football season, since August, I was like, hey, Georgia Tech may win the ACC because I'm a big fan of America's quarterback, Haynes King. That's what I was calling him, right? And because I just like how he plays. And I said, if you love Bo Nix, then you'll love Haynes King. They play the same way. It may not look clean. It may not look how you draw it up. But at the end of the day, you want the ball in their hands when the game is on the line. And going into the preseason game, I said we had a segment called, Reason to Watch. And so we were doing the NFC South. And I was like, Haynes King is the reason to watch the Panthers game because it's time when he goes out there, he plays the game how you draw it up. And so it just was poetic justice that he went out there when the game was on the line and just did what Haynes King has done. And I don't care about his age. I just care that he goes out there and competes. And I was a big fan of him. He was my number 4 quarterback in his draft class. Carson Beck was my number 5 quarterback in his class. So obviously I was impressed with both guys going out there and performing really well.
So you had those high expectations and they met them, which is great. Fernando Mendoza looked really good for the Raiders, but I didn't see the Dolphins game, but I saw his Quinn Ewers stat line. Quinn was like 1 for 8 passing. And I'm like, so it's no given these guys. And he has had a year in Miami, right? So that's the other thing. These aren't given, right? You would like to think they would do well. They don't all do well.
And here's the thing too, because this gets lost in the Shedeur Sanders conversation and his quarterback battle with Deshaun Watson. People are viewing Shedeur as if we didn't watch him play regular season games last year. Same thing with Quinn Ewers. Like, you can't go the interception Quinn Ewers threw against Washington. It was like there was nobody around you. You went under the rest. It wasn't, I guess it had rained during that game, but that pass was just a bad throw in terms of like the read he was covered and you threw it anyway and it got intercepted. So you would have thought a guy like Quinn Ewers would have had a better outing, but then any other quarterback that played in that game outside of Malik Willis for Miami didn't do well, but it shows you how good Malik Willis is because he got out there, was efficient, made some good throws, and then got out of Dodge.
Yeah, they're raging in Miami. I'm like, oh, my God. Hopefully we don't even see Quinn Ewers all year. Vintage Sasko writes in, he says, as a CFL fan, I'd enjoy if the CFL on DAZN poached and backed the Brinks truck up to Emory Hunt's doorstep. I don't know, what'd you think? Hey, it looks like you would agree.
Look, I love that, man. Listen, I rock with the CFL, man. This has been one of the more, we say this probably every year, but this has been one of the more entertaining years in the CFL. I love the Edmonton story because that has been great to watch a team go from doormat to perennial Grey Cup representative from the West Division. And I'm glad we got a taste of what that could have looked like between those guys in Montreal, because I feel like Montreal is steamrolling in that direction out the East. But it's been fun, man. I try to do my part here in the States, giving these folks all the CFL they want and try to educate them on why this is such a great game. And it's funny because if you love college football, if you love all the new wrinkles that you see in the NFL, all that came from up north. Like CFL, college football and NFL are late to the party.
Emory Hunt with us from CBS Sports Network. So you went there down the CFL road and you caught yourself because everybody's raging about what a great season is in the CFL. I'm like, we say this every year. It's just a great league. But if you're following this, BC Lions have won 3 in a row, and the middle game in that was with Caden Salter at quarterback. Now he rushed for 160 yards at Winnipeg, but good for him. Like, he's not the future, but he did what he needed to do to win a game. That's a great story.
I will say that, yeah, you're right, and it's a great story, but it also highlights a big issue I have with the CFL, and that kind of showed. I feel like the CFL needs a new influx of youthful quarterbacks, and there's a lot of those guys out there. Caden Salter just showed you he can win in a different way. Then you look at what Taylor Elgersma, whenever he gets his opportunity. I just feel like the CFL kind of rotates the same coaches, head coaches, and quarterbacks around the league, and that can could knock out some of the interest of guys that are just tuning in. If you see this 40-year-old quarterback going against this 39-year-old quarterback, albeit they're playing well, but man, you want to see some young blood. You want to see a Nathan Rourke. You want to see a Caden Salter. You want to see one of these young guys go out there like a Darius Alexander and just continue to ball out and get better and better and better. You want to see a Trey Ford. I mean, the throw he made in that game this past weekend where he's rolling right, just threw it back, crosses by the deep on a dot to the receiver. for a touchdown. Like, man, you want to see those games. With all of his faults, you want to see a Trey Ford play because this is young. It attracts the eyes and it gets people to watch.
Oh, hey, well, number one, the coaches are going, why can't you do that every game? That's the one thing. Vancouver Eric says, you nailed it, Emory. New rookie quarterbacks needed. Virginia Eric says, Cody, except for last week because he's an Argos fan. But the thing is, here's the difference of what I see. NFL coaches, I don't think they love throwing young guys in there, but they do it way more than the CFL coach. Those CFL coaches are married to the old guy, and you know why they are.
Right, because they wanted their job is titled to wins and losses. It's a outcome-based league, a results-based league. I get it, but if you want to grow this league, number one, they should have a video game. Number two, you have to have young quarterbacks that the young players that are in the junior ranks right now, in the collegiate ranks, can see and say, you know what, I like him. I want to follow this league to watch him play more. And it gives more people around both countries, Canada and the U.S., chance to say, you know what, I can go to CFL and play good football. They give guys an opportunity as opposed to watching these older guys go out there and continue the whole job. And not to put nobody on blast, but how long does, Jake Mayer gets, you have to watch Ottawa play and realize the offense is the issue. And, Jake Mayer he left Calgary, goes to Ottawa, is still playing, okay ball. He's not playing horrible, but he's not playing great. This would be the perfect time to throw in a youthful guy. You're winless, but who's going to be that guy? And I think therein lies the issue.
That's the tough part when you're 0-9 and every idea goes on the table. I'm saying it's tough for Ryan Dinwiddie, the first-year head coach and GM. There's a lot of guys in football going, do you think he regrets going there? I mean, probably not when he looks at his bank account. He went for the bag, but that's a monumental rebuild effort at 0-9, and I don't even know where they would start. We can weave back and forth on all of these questions. The text line's open, 902-518-3033 for Western Dodge. Do you have a national championship pick for college football, or is it too early for that?
I will say this. Until I see somebody beat Indiana, I can't go against Kurt Signetti. And what's unique about Indiana this year is that they return a lot of productivity. They lost some key guys, but a lot of guys also returned. Plus, I could trust Kurt Signetti could put together a roster and coach and win games. And most importantly, this schedule is easier than last year's schedule when they went 16-0. So they should be in a better spot to get those, to work out those kinks early. And I'm a big fan of Josh Hoover. I know he was unceremoniously kicked out the door at TCU, but with the turnovers. But prior to him going down that road, he was throwing some great passes earlier in the season, and I know someone like Signetti would love to tap into that and play that, hey, man, they didn't want you over there. We want you here. And so you're going to get a rejuvenated Hoover. Now, if we're talking about who has the most talented roster, obviously Texas has a talented roster. Ohio State has a talented roster. But last year, everybody was more talented on paper, pound for pound, than Indiana. But they went out there and out-executed everybody and just beat everybody at their own game. So until they lose, I can't go against the Hoosiers.
Well, okay. Well, yeah, we all love the discussion. I mean, Oregon, in Canada we say Oregon, and Oregon they say
Miami
Oregon.
too. I would say Miami and Indiana could be in a collision course.
Wouldn't that be
for the
something?
title game again.
With two brand new quarterbacks. Well, but that's my question: is how much of it comes down to quarterback play? Those are the two highest. Well, Arch probably the highest paid quarterback in college football. See you guys. These young athletes come here every day to work out, and they always stop and say, hey. Yeah, but anyway, but Arch, I mean, just talk about the pressure in Texas under Arch. And they're telling me he was hurt last year, and that was the reason they didn't get to the college football playoff or have the season they were expected to. Maybe that's the case, but if they don't do something this year, I would think they're all gone.
Well, I will. It's funny how they can't keep doing this. I'm not going to let him off the hook. I'm not going to shoot him bail. Anytime he doesn't play well, you can't say, oh, he was hurt. He was dealing with an injury. And then when he does play well against UT Pan American, you'd be like, oh, yeah, see, first-round pick. But when he go out there and play against, Ole Miss, well, he was dealing with something undisclosed. Like, no, I'm not going to let y'all do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, either he was playing well or he wasn't playing well. And I do think that the team around him, they'll put him in a better situation, but he has to play better consistently. And that's why you kind of like a Miami, because in my opinion, if we're super far ahead projecting the 2027 NFL draft, my number one quarterback in the class is Darian Mensah at Miami. This dude did it at Tulane, killed it at Tulane. It was like, well, that's just group of six school. He goes to ACC program. Last time we talked about Duke winning the ACC football championship was 1989. Clarkson Hines ain't out there last year, you know what I'm saying, running around, running routes for the Duke Blue Devils. We're talking about Duke football, and he won there. And I mean, what you think he's going to do at a bigger program at Miami with all that talent around him? So he is the one that he has great situational awareness and great spatial awareness and just has a great sense of timing. So he would be my number one quarterback in the NFL draft. But Arch, I know people like the idea of Arch because of the last name. It's funny how they said this about Shedeur Sanders, but Shedeur Sanders actually put up numbers and put up better tape. But they kept saying it was because of his last name. Well, this one clearly is because of his last name, and he hasn't done nearly enough yet to warrant that praise.
Speaking of, who do you think starts week 1 for the Browns?
I think it's Shedeur Sanders. And if it's not Shedeur Sanders, then it tells you that the decision was made 75% based off contract. Because if we watch that game and just watch it analytically, right? Deshaun Watson was efficient. He completed short passes. But as soon as Shedeur Sanders got in the game, they threw the football down the field, kept throwing it downfield. So you open up the offense more with a young ascending player than a veteran. You know, it was good to see him get out there and move around because, you know, he had the 2 Achilles injuries. But if you're being honest, he looks limited. He doesn't look bad, but he looks limited. I'm talking about Deshaun Watson. And limiting your offense and your offensive potential is not going to win you ball games. And people, again, act as if we didn't see Shedeur Sanders play in regular season games last year with what essentially was 3s and 4s on offense, and they got busy. They probably should have been 5-2, but they went 3-4 and they won the last 2 games. So I think it should be Shedeur, but I could understand financially if they threw Watson out there.
Emory Hunt with us from CBS Sports Network. By the way, Atlanta Braves first-round pick Carter Beck is coming up in the next segment, so stick around, everybody that has showed up. The Carter Beck fans wanting to tune in and catch him, joining us from Georgia. But Brent from the Bridge City writes in, he says, any chance Curtis Rourke comes to the CFL anytime soon? I'm sure you know the deal. A draft pick of the Roughriders, Canadian kid, Nathan Rourke's younger brother, broke his rib with the 49ers last week in an effort where he threw 101 yards. What do you think the future is for Curtis Rourke in the NFL vis-a-vis the CFL?
I think he'll be ended up being in the CFL. And the sad part is getting hurt has been something that has plagued them since Ohio. So he has to, you know, he had injuries at Ohio. He had the injury. We found out he was playing the Indiana season with no ACL. Shout out to him. But, man, that's what cost him that entire rookie season with San Francisco. And now he comes back, plays well, but then has another injury. So, unfortunately, he may hurt himself out the NFL, but end up in Canada. And just like we talked about earlier, he's going to play till like 55 because they don't move off quarterbacks up north.
No, they don't. But by the way, 2 minutes left here. But I saw him play at FAU with Ohio with a massive knee brace on. You talk about the knee issues, whether he's in the NFL or CFL, that's an issue. Emory, the knee doesn't care where he's playing. Like that's, I would think, a major concern, right?
Yeah, especially when you know, he's an athletic guy. I think people underestimate how athletic he really was at Ohio, and then we started to see it less and less and less. It's almost like Joe Namath when he first got to Alabama, and then he got hurt, and he got hurt early with the Jets, and then you just never saw him move around like that anymore. You hope that it's not the case for Rourke, but that does have to, you know, come into your forefront of your mind of how long he has, you know, left to play at a high level.
Plus, he's not challenging for QB1 nor even really QB2 in San Francisco. So I'm with all the pundits like yourself that say he will be back. The question is just when. Not if, but when. All right, Emory, this has been awesome, man. I appreciate you. Enjoy the ball. Appreciate your coverage as always. Where can people find your stuff?
Follow me on Twitter at FBall Game Plan and on Instagram, all one word, Football Game Plan. And always check me out on CBS Sports HQ and Network.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Emory Hunt joining us from CBS Sports Network. We're going to let you go here right away. Just hang on a couple more seconds, Emory. When we come back, Carter Beck, now of the Augusta Green Jackets, first-round pick of the Atlanta Braves, formerly of the Saskatoon Berries. Some very exciting things going on with Carter. He had his first pro home run last night. He'll be joining us coming up right after this. If you got questions for Carter, send them our way. Western Dodge text line is open, 902-518-3033, or the streaming chat. Carter Beck joins us next. The pride of Cardiff, Saskatchewan, here on the RP Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world! Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world! Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. He is here for a good time, but not a long time. The Augusta Green Jackets, Carter Beck, formerly of the Saskatoon Berries and Cardiff, Saskatchewan. Carter, I know you're busy. Hey, do you want to give a shout-out to your old team on the big championship last night?
Yeah, congrats to the Berries. They got her done. I feel like it was a matter of time, and they finally got that chip this year.
Do you feel a bit a part of that since you were there from day one?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just being able to play there for 2 years, I think I helped to grow it a little bit, and it's cool to see them finally win.
All right, Carter. Well, I appreciate you coming on with us. Tell me how your life has changed since mid-July going in the first round to the Atlanta Braves. It's been a whirlwind, I can tell.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I've been all over the place. Get drafted, then all of a sudden you ship down to Florida, and just like that, you're there, and then well, I think I was in Florida for about 2 weeks, and then they say, all right, you're good. You're going to Augusta and just get out there and start playing again. At the same time, it's kind of odd because you don't play for so long, and then you finally get going again. Especially being a guy that plays all the time, like that's all I want to do is play. So just kind of getting used to that. Not playing for a bit was weird, but now that I'm into things, getting rolling again, it's good. It's fun.
Your first pro home run was Sunday in Augusta, or for Augusta. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I just was having a good day at the plate and got up my last at bat, and we had a guy throwing that was just kind of two pitches, and he went ball one, ball two. And I'm like, all right, no matter what, I'm not going to be late on this pitch, and threw me a slider, left it up, and got a hold of it, and finally got that first home run. Felt like I forgot how to hit home runs there for a little bit. Sometimes you go through not hitting home runs, so it was good to get one back.
Well, I'm sure you're being asked this a lot already. You haven't been there long, but are you, with the level of play, how are you feeling about it in terms of how you're fitting in there?
I think it went really well. I think it's good to just get out there, and I mean, I was interested to see what it would be like. Everybody's throwing harder. Like I'd say the average we see is 90, 94 to 96, but everybody's kind of down there for the same reason. There's a lot of young guys, and I think it's been going really well, and just kind of really being surprised with that nothing changed. At the end of the day, you just got to do what you do, and there's a reason they believe in you, and there's a reason you've done so well so far. So just keep doing what you do, and I think I kind of went out and did that, and the first few weeks have been going really good.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you, man. And by the way, when you went in the first round, we were all like, even your grandpa Gus said he thought maybe second round was all first. And then the Atlanta Braves, an historic franchise. What's it like to be part of them? How have they treated you?
Yeah, it's been awesome. They treat top notch. Like everything I hear around them too is they're one of the best organizations out there. Like in the way they treat their players and do all that. And yeah, it's just super cool. I mean, I don't know if I would have thought that was gonna be exactly how the draft was gonna work out either. It was super exciting. But just to get down here and be picked up in the spot I was picked up and have the opportunities that are in front of me right now, it's super cool.
Well, the great thing for you is you're always smiling. You just love playing the game, and you always have. I don't feel like you even feel the pressure, do you?
No, I just go out there. I mean, the point is to have fun, and the pressure situations are the whole reason you play. I mean, I don't play just to be bored out there, right? The pressure is what you want to play for, and get a chance to just be that guy for the game, or go out and make a catch to save the game, or go hit the winning run, or whatever. Any way to help the team win is kind of the most fun part.
Well, for those of you that have known you or of you since you were born to play baseball, especially with that name across the back of your jersey. So I'm going to let you go. I know you're on the way. I won't say what. We'll be following for the news of you, Carter. Just keep it roll. We're so proud of you, man. I had more questions. We'll do it next time.
That sounds good. Thank you. Sounds good.
All right, Carter. Great job. Keep it going. Carter Beck joining us of the Augusta Green Jackets, Atlanta Braves, first-round draft choice. And he gone. Yeah, you can go throw up the graphic if you want there, producer Corey. It was – he's on – I can't say. He said, I can't say what the news is, but happy to jump on with you, but we don't have a lot of time. We covered it perfectly. So we'll be coming right back with a sports update and viewer takeover the rest of the way. What a great start to the week. Everybody loving the guests. Emory Hunt from CBS Sports Network, Carter Beck of the Atlanta Braves. I was going to ask him what his expectations are. Let's just put it this way. The way it's going, don't be surprised to see him in the Braves lineup before the end of the year. That's not where he's going right now, but just don't be surprised. We'll be coming right back with overtime right after this.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results.
At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. I almost feel bad for the kid, Carter Beck. We're texting back and forth right now. He's just so nice. He's like, I'm sorry I wasn't able to hang up there properly. I don't know what happened. You're good. Atlanta Braves first-round pick. Highest draft pick ever from here in Major League Baseball. We're having a talk. He's got people talking baseball in a place they don't normally talk baseball. You know what I mean? By the way, it's overtime for Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. On Wednesday, we'll be live there, joined by Stanley Cup champion Colin Pedersen, called by Don Cherry the most underrated player in the National League, Colin Pedersen, and Ryan Thelwell, NFL CFL alum as well. The poll question, thank you, Jason from Red Deer, chiming in. He says, I would update the poll, but it doesn't look like it's working. The poll question for EMJ Marketing today is, should Tommy John be in the Baseball Hall of Fame? And I'm kind of sitting here having a real cool full circle moment. 83-year-old Tommy John passing away on the weekend, and spent just great time with Tommy. I guess this has been a blur this whole hour in a good way. And then to talk to a young man like Carter, who have been calling his games in collegiate baseball for the last, 2 years. Just, you see what I'm saying? The old and the young. But Tommy John came here to be the guest speaker at the Red Sox banquet. I am seated, and I don't know why I was so close with the Red Sox people at the time, because I remember picking him up at the airport, taking him to the hotel. It was the DoubleTree downtown, and he was like, okay, so where should I go? And they said, well, if you go this way, if you go that way, straight out the front doors, you'll find everything you need. Restaurants, shopping, you name it. You need a cab, it's all there. Don't go out this way. Don't go out the back. He goes, well, why wouldn't I go out the back? Well, there's just some bad things back there. That's the red light district and some nefarious things going on. Maybe that's what I want. I'll never forget that. And he changed his flight to stay, Tommy John, for 3 days instead of just one because he was having such a good time. I was still drinking back then, and so was he. That might be why we hit it off so well. But on the stage, I said, how does it feel to have a surgery named after you? Tommy John surgery, forearm tendon, I guess in his left arm. He says, well, I'm glad it wasn't at least it wasn't rectal surgery. Everything out of the guy's mouth was funny. Tommy John. So when he passed away, and then 18 times probably over the course of those 3 games, he's like, if you have any influence, I really need to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I got the most wins of any pitcher not in Cooperstown. And he died on the weekend not getting in. And I don't know enough about baseball as to say why. My guess is he's pissed somebody off somewhere along the line. That's usually how it goes. And then he got this young kid, Carter, which if we had a WCBL Baseball Hall of Fame, he'd be in it already. So, yeah, old and young, and I'm just so blessed to be able to talk to them all. Oh, and I had notes. Who's coming up tomorrow? Oh, yeah, Travis Lulay. Maybe Travis Lulay. And first, when Scruffy joins us in Hour 1, I'll say this to the Nevada viewers, if you just can't get enough of the RP show. Hour 1 airs 2 to 3 Central on WQVZ radio and on Game Plus streaming across Canada and our own YouTube channel, The Rod Pedersen Show. We got some great things always going on in Hour 1, and we'll be talking some more NFL Tuesday. We had to get out of the weekend here on this Monday. We had to recap Week 1 in the NFL preseason, Week 11 of the CFL. But everybody's talking about Aaron Donald, and I kind of get why they are. But it came up this morning, like Mike Florio is clearly a football guy. Pro Football Talk, he's done a great job with the website and now the radio show. He's got Chris Sims there with him and played in the league. Phil Sims is his dad, raised in the game. And they're sitting there wondering why Aaron Donald would want to come back. And I'm sitting there thinking, you guys should know this. When Aaron Donald walked away however many years ago, what was it? 3-4 years ago, he was done. He'd made his money. He'd won a championship. But do you know how? And very few guys and girls now are able to walk away on their own terms. He did. My guess is he got bored. He might have missed a paycheck. Nobody wants to talk about maybe he needs the money. I don't know. The stat remains 70% of NFLers are broke within 3 years of retirement. 70 years. So to walk away on your own, they're saying, why would he do this? Probably because he walked away without being told to, and he misses it. I'd like to think that's the reason, but maybe he needs the money. Who knows? And then for everybody saying, why hasn't he played yet? He doesn't need to, which I'll be honest, you guys are asking, when am I going back to Florida? It's awesome there. And it's awesome here. Here I'm around the hockey people all the time, and that's great. When I'm down in South Florida, I'm around the football people all the time. And how that makes a difference is there was all that a year and a half ago coming and going, whether Aaron Rodgers was going to sign with the Steelers. And it was in the media. We didn't know what to believe. And I was with a football guy at a Panthers game of all things, and he goes, it's all window dressing. You're going to get through the OTAs. And then they'll announce that he just doesn't want to be on the field for that. And that's exactly what happened. And my point is, if I had a football guy to reach out to, I'm not going to text him, but they would know the reason why Aaron Donald isn't on the field yet. And I don't know why they won't come out and say it. That's the reason that I'm having a tough time finding my way in today's sports, because nobody's real about it. Like even Sean McVay stood at the podium on the weekend and said, this will be up to Aaron. I think I heard the clip this morning on Florio. This is on Aaron's timeline. It's all a big act, is what I'm saying. And when you just rip the curtain off and say, this is what it is, they don't like that. The guess is he's in shape. He doesn't need to take the reps. Everybody knows it. So we'll have him for the last preseason game, and failing that, Week 1 for sure. So nobody will say it. And by the way, that's my guess. That's my guess. We'll get into that more. We talked about me traveling to Vancouver this weekend. I'm looking at the outrageous cost of hotels. I did not talk about Brad Marchand today. We'll have to get into that tomorrow. We didn't really talk about the Natty. Travis Luley will be with us, Montana State great Grey Cup champion with BC as we head into there this weekend. I wanted to get Travis Luley on. That'll be great. So, they haven't signed Gino Lewis because of money, Jason. See you tomorrow.
That.